Welcome to Biff's Mystery Theater. I have many tales to tell you. Ghost stories, murder stories, and tales that will make your bones chill. Join me, won't you? For Theater of the Mind, where you always have the best seat in the house. Now close your eyes and turn off the lights.
Autolite and its 96,000 dealers present a story taken from the front pages of your newspaper. Tonight's production on
Suspense. Tonight, Autolite presents Blackjack to Kill, a dramatic report on a man who made his living by being an assassin, starring Mr. Victor Mature.
Hey, Two-Gun. Why are you shooting those pistols off at your car?
Because I'm tired of just shouting at my cars, wasting gas and hard to start. That's why, Wilcox.
Well, Two-Gun, why not go straight to your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer and have him check your spark plugs?
You mean spark plugs could be the trouble, Wilcox?
Why, they sure could, Two-Gun, because spark plugs are the heart of a car's ignition system, and they've got to be right. That's where your Autolite spark plug dealer comes in. He's the only one who has the exclusive Autolite plug check indicator to quickly tell whether your spark plugs are right for your style of driving.
He'll do that for me?
He sure will, and more, too, because if replacements are needed, he'll recommend ignition-engineered, standard or resistor-type Autolite spark plugs to give you smoother performance, quick starts, and gas savings. So, friends, take a tip from me and see your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer soon. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with Blackjack to Kill and the performance of Mr. Victor Mature, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
Here he is, Mr. Moyer.
That chair right in front of you, Johnny.
Sure.
I'm going to give you a card, Johnny. I'm going to give everybody here at the table one, all 5 of you.
What is this, anyhow?
One of us is going to kill a man, Johnny.
Who?
That makes a lot of difference to you, Johnny?
You didn't hear me say that, did you?
No. Once around the table, face up. High card. High card makes one of you employed with a job to do. You got anything to say, Raddick, before I deal?
Just deal, huh?
Thank you, Mr. Raddick.
So polite. That Cleo kills me.
Ace is high card. Winner, to kill a man. Let's go. Cut him, Cleo. Thanks. Now stand at the door and don't let anyone in.
Yes, sir.
What's the matter? Doesn't Cleo get a card?
You 5, just you 5, Raddick. 10 of clubs for you, Raddick.
Oh.
6 of diamonds for you, Toker. 9 of hearts for Barney. Jack of clubs for Johnny.
Goodbye, Johnny.
7 of hearts for Mackle. You, Johnny.
I'm a lucky fellow.
I tell people that when they ask me about you, how lucky you are. Not a scratch, and you've knocked over 3 hoodlums.
4. I operated before I met you, Moyer.
4, my. Good-looking boy like you. It's the talk how hired killers don't come as pretty as you.
Good night, Mr. Moyer.
Good night, Cleo. You like it here in Miami, Johnny?
Sure, I like it. Why shouldn't I like it?
Oh, why shouldn't you like it? Yeah. Miami, pretty palm trees, pretty ladies, pretty ponies. And no Penny Cullen.
You're doing it again, Moyer. Every chance you get, you say Penny Cullen to me. Why?
Because you're lucky. A big man like Penny, and you say the right word to the wrong guy, and Penny's gone, kicked out, deported, run out of the country, and nothing happens to you. You're sure the one, Johnny.
All right, I'm the one. Now, what did I get the high card for?
For this. 10 grand to do a job. 15 more when you come back and it's all over.
When I come back, where am I going?
Havana in Cuba.
All right. I go to Havana. I kill somebody. Who?
You get a plane ticket and a name and an address. The address for a man you'll see. He'll tell you who. He wants the job done. I'm just the contractor, Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have fun, Johnny. Try not to get scratched.
Moyer said it, and it let loose a squad of happy butterflies that finally landed in a wad somewhere inside me. 10 grand. 10 grand to stain a little part of Havana with a man's blood. Throw a handful of sand in his face, and for that, another 15 grand when I got back, so I could enjoy Miami all over again. At the airport, hire a car, lean back, spread out, breathe deep and slow while you drive through dreamland. And where the Prado kisses the neon goodbye, a mansion with flamingos strutting in the front yard like they were on stilts, and their wings a color of red I never saw before flashing against the white columns of the house. Taste it for a minute, then walk into it. And a butler in knee breeches tells you to wait.
You are who, senor?
Damon. Johnny Damon.
Oh? I have been waiting for you, Senor Johnny Damon. I am Deontay. We have business to discuss.
You want some dead? What's to discuss? Just tell me who.
In my study, I think is more appropriate for these matters. Venga, senor. Come. Aquí. Here. You are the assassin I have hired, see? I want to look at you. Assassin. I walk around you. Observe you. And this is what an assassin looks like?
Look, how long do I have to wait?
You have impatience, Senor Assassin. This is an admirable quality in a man who kills for a fee. Penny Cullen.
What?
The man I want dead. Penny Cullen.
Well. Penny's here, huh?
Since 3 months. The criminal your country deported to Europe has fled from there. Came here, to Cuba. This killer, this gangster, this filth you have rid yourselves of in your country. I want this also, to me. But rid me of him, dead.
It's going to be a pleasure. Penny bothers you, huh?
I have flourishing enterprises in Cuba, senor. Your Penny Cullen wants to share in them. This he has whispered to me. He asked for an answer, quickly. You are my answer.
You came up with the right answer, Chico. Where do I find Penny?
He has a house in the Plaza Batista. Number 23.
4 days, Chico. That's how long I need. Then the weepers for Penny Cullen can start crying over his dead body.
4 days?
3 days to watch him. The 4th, the kill.
My assassin.
You know, that's something Penny taught me. If the man has a schedule that lasts for 3 days, he'll do the same on the 4th.
I see. This is very interesting to me.
Sure. You see, you can't be sloppy in this kind of work. Know a man's habits. Know where he's going to be at such and such a time. Know when to kill. That way you can walk away from it.
I had not known assassination was such a delicate art, senor.
Delicate art, huh?
See. A suggestion, if I may.
Go right ahead.
A thing I know about Senor Cullen. Each day at 6, at twilight, he sits on a bench, the same bench always, and looks over the Embarcadero.
The Embarcadero?
The waterfront. He sits there and looks out upon the ocean.
Where's the bench?
There is a statue, senor, of a dying hero, Miguel Perez, to the left of the statue.
Thanks, Deontay. That's all I need.
Senor.
Yeah?
When you kill senor, say him my name. Say Jose Deontay. Adios.
Penny Cullen in Havana. Penny Cullen set up to be knocked over by me. A boy who could appreciate a nice thing like that. There was nothing complicated about it. Penny Cullen was a man I hated, a man I put the finger on, a man I had deported, and now I was going to get close enough to kill him. And he'd never even know I was in the van. Now to work. First, an investment. $10.95 for a pair of binoculars. Nothing fancy, but good enough. Magnification 3.5 times. Very fine for seeing Penny Cullen sitting on a bench watching the ocean. That evening, get to the waterfront sometime before 6. Find a spot that overlooks a bench to the left of a statue of a dying man, and wait. At 5:45, a vendor pedals by the bench on a bike. He's selling ice cream. And wait. And far away a bell tolls 6 o'clock. And in the middle of it, a man who walks over to the bench, sits on it. A man named Penny Cullen. And Penny looks pretty good. A little heavier, but just a little bit. Yeah, Penny looks pretty good. He's carrying something with him, a paper bag. At 5 minutes after 6, he opens the bag and throws breadcrumbs to the pigeons. Penny Cullen throwing breadcrumbs to the pigeons. At 12 minutes after 6, a cop walks past the bench, touches his cap to Cullen. Cullen nods back. The cop goes away. Penny sits. 20 after, another vendor, an old woman. She's selling flowers. Penny buys one. The old woman puts it in his lapel. Goes away. At 6:45, Penny goes away. Next day, practically the same. 5:45, ice cream vendor. 6, Penny Cullen. 5 after, pigeon feeding time. At 6:12, the cop. 6:20, flower in the buttonhole. 6:45, Penny gets up and walks away. The next day, the same. Next day, the 4th day. Day for killing.
¿Y su cupo libre, señor?
Thanks. Put it on the table.
Sí, señor. Will there be anything else?
Take a buck from the bundle. Oh, kid.
Sí, señor.
I'm liable to nap. Have the desk call me at 5.
Sí, señor.
4 hours away from killing time. Time enough to have your drink, then lie down in that soft bed and relax. Think about it. And he didn't even know I was here. Penny Cullen, pigeon feeder. Tomorrow the pigeons would have to find a new boy. Between 6:20 and 6:45, I was going to walk up and back of him and let him have it. Oh, and he wouldn't even know where it came from. Yeah? Yeah?
Johnny.
Hmm?
Do whatever you were doing, Johnny. I'm not going to be at the bench today.
Penny?
Yeah. Penny Cullen, boy. Welcome to Havana.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Victor Mature in Blackjack to Kill. Tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Say, Wilcox, you said Autolite spark plugs are ignition engineered?
I sure did, Two Gun, because they're designed by the same Autolite engineers who designed the coil, distributor, and all the other important parts of the complete ignition systems used as original factory equipment on many leading makes of our finest cars, trucks, and tractors.
You mean Autolite spark plugs are tops in quality and performance, eh, Wilcox?
Exactly, Two Gun, and that's why so many millions of wise motorists replace worn-out spark plugs with Autolite, standard or resistor-type spark plugs for smoother performance, quick starts, and gas savings. You just can't buy better spark plugs than world-famous ignition-engineered Autolite spark plugs.
I'm going to see my Autolite spark plug dealer right now.
Friends, to quickly learn the location of your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer, just call Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25. She'll gladly tell you the location of your nearest Autolite spark plug dealer who is equipped to give you the best spark plug service in town. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Victor Mature in Elliot Lewis's production of Blackjack to Kill, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
So now it was different. Penny Cullen knew I was in Havana, and he knew why. But only a little different, only a little tougher. A matter now of killing a man who knew he was going to be killed. Look at it this way. It was a job, and it was going to get done. Only now it was more even up, more interesting. Penny Cullen and me. Two good boys, each holding a good hand, and the winner that was going to be me. Yes, I was the good boy who was going to stay alive. New plans. Penny knew where I was. So get out of this hotel and find another one. Pack, carry your own suitcase, walk down 5 flights of stairs, leave through the service entrance, down an alley, down a side street, keep walking, keep alive.
Quiere, senor?
What?
I ask you what you want.
Rum.
Rum.
Hey, bartender.
Another rum?
No.
¿Qué quiere, senor?
That sign outside says you have rooms upstairs.
See? You wish a room?
Yeah, for 4 days.
It can be arranged.
I want something else arranged.
¿Qué?
Look what I got, Chico. See it, money? American dollars.
I see it, senor.
I want a boat for a boat trip.
¿Cuándo? When?
In 4 days. Look at it again, Chico. Money. Mucho, mucho, mucho money.
For a boat?
You said it, Chico.
Conmigo. With me. Mario.
See?
This man has taken a room. He also wants to arrange for a boat.
Huh?
I want a boat in 4 days. I need something to take me over to Key West.
Why to me, senor? There are fine steamships, airplanes.
I can't wait for schedules. I want something that'll get me out of here when I'm ready to move.
Huh?
What about it?
In 4 days.
Well, what about it?
In 4 days, senor. On the 4th day from today, we'll be ready for you. Whenever you want it.
So it started all over again. The killing of Penny Cullen. This time it had to be played another way. Before I set him up, I had to think of myself. About a getaway. No commercial transportation. After I killed Penny, who knows how many of his people would be asking around for me at airports and at steamship docks. A private boat, all my own. The way to do it. The way to assassinate. Number 23 Plaza, Batista. That was the address the auntie had given me. That's where Penny was. I already had the jump on him. I knew exactly where he'd be. So started all over again. Find a spot nearby. Park your car. Get out. Hide. Watch. And it went like this. At a few minutes past midnight, a sedan drove up at number 23. 2 men got out of the front, looked up and down the street. Then one of them opened the door for another man. Penny. Penny and a blonde. The 2 of them walk up the steps, go into the house. The lights go on, and so does some music from inside. And the 2 men out front, they stay there, talk a little while, tell a joke. But they stay there. That way for 2 hours. Then one of them looks at the other, shrugs. They walk over to the sedan and get in. And in a little while, they're dozing. And there are silhouettes of Penny and the blonde behind the windows. That's all you need to know. That night, the next, and the night after that, the same thing. Penny Cullen and the blonde, and the music, and the two men who got tired after a couple of hours and went to sleep. Then it was the fourth night. The time for killing had come around again. Penny and the blonde. So wait. And the two men. So wait. An hour. Wait. 2. Wait. And then the two men dozing. Let them sleep. The time for killing. Assassination. A delicate art. And it was done.
Senor?
Let's go, bartender. Let's tell your boss I'm ready for that boat.
Your business here in Havana is completed?
4 days and it's all done. Let's go.
Mario, he is here.
¿Sí?
Él dice que su negocio está completado en Havana y quiere un buque hoy.
Ah?
Look, bartender, what did you tell him?
Él tiene un gran apuro por el buque, Mario. ¿Está todo listo?
Ah.
I ask you something. What did you tell him?
Take your hands off me, senor.
Well,
Mario knows what you want. Talk to him.
what about it, Mario? You got the boat for me?
He said you have a lot of money. Show me.
Sure. You hear it? Whispers to you.
Foolish, senor. So much money to wave it to such a stranger as me.
You know what else I got? A gun. Right under the gabardine.
You have money, you have a gun. It takes now only the boat to Key West to make you happy, see?
Yeah.
$2,000.
2,000, huh?
For you. Just for you.
All right. When you put me on the boat.
Bueno. El hombre está aquí. Como dijo usted. Un americano con pelo güero. Él tiene mucho dinero ahí en la...
Who are you talking to? Look, when you talk, do it in American so I can understand what you're saying. In American, Mario.
My friend speaks only Spanish. You do not believe me? You talk to him, senor. You tell him what you need.
Talk to him.
¿Está arreglado? Muy bien. Yo le diré. Sit down, senor. Make yourself at home.
What did your friend say?
1 hour. He will call when he's ready.
I told you it had to be ready when I wanted it.
Try someplace else, senor.
You sure your friend's got the boat?
1 hour. I already said it. Sit down. You play cards, senor?
Look, call him back and tell him I haven't got an hour.
Everybody has an hour, senor. Except the dying.
Deal of cards.
Poker?
Deal. Except the dying. And that didn't include me. Penny Cullen dead. Johnny Damon healthy and wealthy. But how long does an hour take? How many poker hands? And how many times did the door open like that and a man standing in the doorway looking at you? Just standing and looking, then goes away. A man and a woman, then another man. And Mario across the table, not looking at his cards, looking at you and laughing like that. And...
Sí. Todavía está aquí. Muy bien, muy bien. Como diga usted. It was not about you, senor. It was of another matter.
Things like that. The people who stood in open doorways staring. A phone call that was not about you. Things that only eat up half an hour. Things and Mario. What's funny? What are you laughing at?
At you, senor. You're such a bad poker player.
Sure. Maybe you're not getting a boat. Maybe your friend's not getting me a boat either. How come it takes an hour to get a boat? You had 4 days. How come it takes another hour, Mario?
Hello, Johnny. I said hello.
Hi, Penny.
Yeah, you better get on your feet, Johnny. Get out of here, Mario.
I couldn't have missed you, Penny.
Not you, boy. You never miss. You killed a man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a man I was saving up to be killed. Kind of built like me.
You're a tricky boy, Penny.
But not you. That thing I taught you. A man has a schedule for 3 days. He'll do the same on the 4th. Oh, Johnny. You should have known I was figuring right with you.
Yeah, I should have done that.
Do you like Havana?
It was all right. I'm still in favor of Miami.
It's not even worth an opinion anymore, Johnny.
Oh?
Yeah. Moya wrote me and said you're being replaced. He's got a kid named Cleo he likes.
Moya wrote you? Moya?
Uh-huh.
You're kidding, Penny. Moya was contracted for what I was supposed to do to you.
Oh, Johnny, you've really lost touch.
Mm-hmm. Not Johnny.
Johnny. He didn't hire you to kill me. I hired him to send you to me.
Tricky.
I thought so. What'd you expect, boy, getting me heaved out of the States and all?
Yeah, I thought that was very patriotic.
It was.
And I'm going to tell you something, Penny.
Uh-huh.
I'm going back to Miami. Moya's jaw is going to drop when he sees me. Then he's going to pay me the $15,000 he owes me for killing you. Then he's going to run.
Behave, Johnny. You're not getting back to Miami.
Oh, you think you can kill me?
You die hard, Johnny.
Yeah, got it! Got it all! You think you can kill me? You think you can kill me?
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Victor Mature.
And here once again is our star, Victor Mature. Victor, it was great having you on Suspense again.
Thanks, Harlow. And thanks to Autolite for giving me such an exciting story. You know, Harlow, the play's the thing.
Agreed, Victor. But all elements, both the play and the actor, must be right to ensure the best show possible. Now, take your car, for example. To ensure its best performance, it needs Autolite ignition-engineered spark plugs, either standard or resistor type. I say Autolite spark plugs because they're designed by the same engineers who design complete electrical systems. Autolite actually makes over 400 products for cars, trucks, tractors, planes, and boats. These include the world-famous Autolite Stay Full battery, automotive wire and cable, bumpers and hubcaps, and many more. No wonder, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
Next week on Suspense, our star will be Mr. John Hodiak in another story taken from life, a dramatic report we call The Case History of a Gambler. In weeks to come, we shall also present Mr. Herbert Marshall, Mr. Jeff Chandler, and Mr. Charles Boyer, all on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Elliot Lewis, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Blackjack to Kill was written for Suspense by Morton Fine and David Friedkin. Featured in tonight's story were Herb Butterfield, Clayton Post, Harry Bartell, Jack Crucian, Eddie Firestone, Joseph Kearns, and Steve Roberts.
Tonight's appearance of Mr. Victor Mature was made possible through the permission of 20th Century Fox Studios, whose current release is Fixed Bayonets, starring Richard Basehart.
And remember, next week on Suspense, Mr. John Hodiak in The Case History of a Gambler.
For the location of your nearest Autolite spark plug or battery dealer, or your nearest authorized Autolite service station, phone Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
The Christmas season is also the Christmas seal season. By using and buying Christmas seals, you directly aid in the fight to conquer tuberculosis, which kills more people than all infectious diseases combined.
Autolite and its 96,000 dealers bring you Mr. John Hodiak in a story taken from life. Tonight's presentation of Suspense.
Tonight, Autolite presents a dramatic report from the Roaring 20s about a man whose way of life destroyed him. A factual document we call The Case History of a Gambler, starring Mr. John Hodiak.
Hello, Harlow.
Well, it's Oscar, the loquacious limousine. Why so down in the dumps, Oscar?
My battery went dry and I can't get started.
Well, you ought to have an Autolite Stay Full battery, the famous battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use.
Only 3 times, Harlow?
Right, my querulous car. The Autolite Stay Full has over 3 times the liquid reserve of batteries without Stay Full features. And it gives longer life, too, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards. So, friends, visit your nearest Autolite battery dealer. He's equipped to service all makes of batteries, and if a replacement is needed, he has an Autolite Stay Full. To quickly learn his location, just call Western Union by number
and ask for me, Operator 25. I'll gladly tell you the location of your nearest Autolite battery dealer.
And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with The Case History of a Gambler and the performance of Mr. John Hodiak, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
It's not easy to walk when you're weighted down with a bullet in your body. But keep walking, because 6 blocks away, less than half a mile, there's a hospital. Think about something, anything to get your mind off the pain. Think about the beginning of this. When was it? 1,000 years ago? 100? No, it's closer than that. 3 years. 3 years ago, in the kids' dressing room at the arena. It began with a fight. A prize fight.
Look, Matt, when you called me and asked for $10,000, I sent it over and didn't ask any questions.
Then why start now?
I think I got a right to know why you wanted the dough.
I'll tell you when the fight's over.
Fight? You mean you put my 10 grand on a fighter?
Yes.
Give me back my dough.
Now, wait a minute.
Give it back.
But you don't know
I don't want to know. I want my money.
Relax for a couple of minutes, Frank.
Don't get cute with me, Angle boy. Tell me the score or give me $10,000 now.
You won't wait, huh?
Now!
You should know me better than to think I'm going to throw away your 10 grand.
I thought I did.
I've been booking bets long enough to know that you can't beat the fights.
Well, then
But I know you can beat one fight.
How do you figure?
Because the boy I bet on is my fighter. I planned this match a year ago, and when I win, I'm through with prize fighting.
There's got to be an angle.
There is. I bought a fighter last year, a kid.
So?
I saw this boy in some amateur bouts, and I bought him and trained him and booked fights for him.
What's he done since?
Lost 12 fights, 4 by knockouts, 3 by TKOs, and 5 by unanimous decisions.
And how do you know he can win tonight?
Up to now, I've had him fighting pretty good. Not the way he can. I've had him training at a little private camp up in the mountains, going 5, 6 rounds with the best boys I could find. He's knocked them all out.
That's all? You mean you took my 10 grand and put it on this wonder boy just because he's been knocking out bums in training camps? Oh, you're kidding me, Matt. You got the other boy to take a fall.
You think I'd stick my neck out and try to fix a fight?
You would if you thought you could do it.
Well, even if I could, there'd be too many people taking a cut of the pie. My pie.
Better to take a piece than try for it all and get none.
Not me, Frank. I'll roll for the bundle. When you loaned me $10,000, it made an even 100 grand I've spread all over the country.
Why the big deal all of a sudden?
I want money, real money. I'm tired of nickel and dime operations.
What are you going to do if you win?
When I win, I'm going to open up the biggest, safest gambling casino this side of the Mississippi.
Oh, we did it. We did it.
Shut the door, Lou.
Oh, but I...
Shut the door.
Okay.
What round?
Knock out the fifth.
At 20-1.
That's right.
$2 million. Matt, you just won $2 million.
Get in touch with the boys, Lou. I want Al to pick up the dough in Frisco, Seattle, Los Angeles, and San Diego. Tell Willie to cover Phoenix, Tucson, Albuquerque, and El Paso. Then go to see a guy. 63rd Street. 5 blocks to go. Walk. Keep walking. And think. That was the beginning. What came after the beginning? The casino. The suburban gambling casino. My reward for fixing one fight. Then came the friends. Matthew Miller's giving money away. Get some of it. But be sure you give it back when you're through. And always the gratitude. Always the benediction.
Much obliged, Matt. I was real short on operating capital.
That's all right, Charlie. Glad I could help.
I'll see you on the 15th of next month to get my IOU back.
See that you do, Charlie. You know how I feel about Welsh's.
Yeah, I know. Well, good night, Matt. Thanks again.
Good night, Charlie.
Well, maybe you know what you're doing, Matt, but sometimes I think you're too loose with your dough.
You mean Charlie?
Oh, him for one, and other guys I've seen you lend money to.
What's wrong with lending now and then?
Oh, nothing. Only any grifter or hood that runs out of money in this town knows they can get to you for a touch.
All right, bookkeeper. How much money have I lost since I started helping the less fortunate of my fraternity?
Well, there was Richie Farlow from Detroit. He nicked you for 80 grand.
Where's he now? And incidentally, where's anyone who ever welched on a loan or a gambling debt?
So they're not around anymore.
Cancels out, doesn't it?
Just because a guy knows better than to try to welch on you is no excuse to be Mr. Soft Touch.
Why not?
It's not businesslike.
I'm not in the lending business.
Well, with the amount of dough you got spread around, you might just as well be. And supposing Charlie goes out of here and gets knocked off, where's your dough then?
It's a chance I have to take.
You shouldn't have to take chances. Charlie's wife isn't taking a chance. If Charlie gets knocked off tonight, she's rich tomorrow. He's got enough insurance to...
Say that again about Charlie's wife.
Why? What did I say?
What happens if Charlie gets knocked off tonight?
I said she'd be rich tomorrow. Why?
That's what I thought you said.
Hey, Matt, what are you going to do?
Lou, call my lawyer.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I'm about to become an actuary.
A what?
An actuary. According to Webster, one who is skilled in life assurance.
Oh, Matt, you're out of your mind. You'll never get away with it. The state would be on your neck so fast, the stock issue would never clear the broker's office.
Sit down, Counselor. You're wearing the nap off my carpeting.
Oh, all right.
First of all, is it possible to form a dummy corporation for the purpose of floating a stock issue?
Well, yes, it is.
Answer with a yes or no. Don't embellish your sentences.
Oh, sorry.
To go on. Since the stock issue will be thrown open to the public, there'll be no necessity for me to control more than 25% of the issue, right?
Right.
And when I sell a policy to a client, the majority of the first premium will go to me as the selling agent.
Right.
Now we come to the important point. Is it perfectly legal for me to be named the beneficiary of any policy I may issue?
Well, in the event...
Is it legal, yes or no?
Yes, it's legal.
Then why are you fighting me? What can the state possibly do to me?
Now, since that question can't be answered by a yes or no, have I your permission to elaborate?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Now, what guarantee have you that these men to whom you lend money will continue to pay the premiums after they have repaid the loan?
Why, none, of course. I don't care if they keep up the policy or not. All I'm interested in is protection for myself. And with that protection, if I can make an extra dollar by issuing the policy, I don't see how that can be construed as fraud or any other illegal practice.
Do you know what happens to the company in the long run?
Frankly, I don't care. By that time, I expect to have gotten what I wanted out of it.
The stockholders would cause you trouble if they got together.
If, Chris. People don't help each other. They're too busy helping themselves.
Yeah, like you.
Maybe. The difference is most of them don't know what they want.
Do you, Matt?
Of course I do. That's why I don't need any help. I'm just going to do it all by myself. Any more questions?
No, I suppose not.
Then how about a drink?
I can use one.
Lou?
Yeah, coming right up.
Don't pout, Chris. Losing this decision to me won't hurt your reputation.
It's not me I'm thinking about. It's you.
Me?
You're reaching. One of these days, you'll reach out too far. And it'll be a long, long fall to the bottom. It'll break every bone in your body.
Dramatic, but unnecessary. No matter what happens, people will gamble. And the only safe place in the state is right here. This casino is my bumper. And it can cushion any fall I may take.
There they are. Help yourself.
Well, Chris, let's drink to our new venture.
A toast, if I may.
You may.
To Matt. May the long fall never come.
Amen.
64th Street, 4 blocks from the hospital. Why am I trying? Why do I want to live? There must be a reason. A reason. Ellen. I want to live for Ellen. I want to kiss her and be kissed. I want to give her all the things I promised her. So I'll keep walking. Keep walking. Walking.
You look tired, Matt. Anything wrong?
No, I'm just trying to get Chris back in line. Sometimes I wonder if he's really on my side.
You don't mean that, do you?
He's a fine lawyer, Ellen. I have to admit he's gotten me out of a couple of tight spots, but I wonder sometimes if he's interested in me or the retainer I pay him.
Matt, what's wrong? Chris is your friend. You don't think about friends that way.
I know, but tonight was different. Tonight I felt that Chris wasn't on my side, that... Forget it. I'm here with you, and that's all I care about right now.
Matt.
Hmm?
When are you going to quit?
Quit? Quit what?
All this figuring and scheming and gambling. Well, you know.
No, I don't know. Tell me.
Oh, Matt, you've got enough money to have a safe, wonderful life away from here. Away from all the hoodlums and sharpies and thieves and murderers. Why don't we just pack up and go? Oh, Matt, I'm so afraid. I love you too much to worry about you from day to day. You know, you can't live the kind of life you're living without making enemies. And one of these days, somebody's going to hate you enough to... Oh, Matt.
Don't you understand that it's because of you that I don't quit?
Because of me?
Yes. I promised myself I'd give you the city for a wedding present, and I'm not going to welsh on a promise.
But I don't want the city. I want you. I want to forget that there are fighters and cards and dice and roulette and all the other things you can't depend on.
But I can depend on them. I can depend on them because I know the weaknesses of people. Masked Man is the biggest sucker in the world, and the only way to punish him for it is to take his money, and that's what I'm doing.
But for how long?
Come with me, and I'll show you. What do you see?
The city?
That's right, the city. I'm going to take suckers' money until I have enough to buy it.
Autolite is bringing you Mr. John Hodiak in The Case History of a Gambler. Tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Friends, now my starts are quick and sure. I get going right with my Stay Full battery made by Autolite.
Well said, my orating Otto. Starting is a real fast pleasure with an Autolite Stay Full, the power-packed battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. And what's more, the Autolite Stay Full gives longer life, as proved by tests conducted according to accepted life cycle standards.
So visit your nearest Autolite battery dealer soon.
To quickly learn his location, call Western Union by number...
And ask for me, Operator 25. I'll gladly tell you the location of your nearest Autolite battery dealer, who services all makes of batteries.
And in case you need a new battery to give your car dependable starts in this cold weather, he has an Autolite Stay Full battery, the battery that needs water only 3 times a year in normal car use. Remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. John Hodiak in Elliot Lewis's production of The Case History of a Gambler, a story of the roaring 20s, well calculated to keep you in suspense.
"65th Street. How long can it take a man to walk 6 blocks? How heavy can an ounce of lead be? 2 more blocks to the hospital. And when I get there, what then? Is all this worth the gamble? The gamble. Matt Hugh Miller, the gambler. The man who lived for the gamble. The good loser. The gracious winner. The man who hated a Welsher. A good gambler. A gambler. Gambler. I think I'll stretch my legs for a second. What do you know? It's daylight again. Must be Monday.
We'll send out for some more food.
Not for me. How about you guys?
I've had it. 2 days of poker is just about my limit.
Well, let's make this the last hand, huh?
Right by me.
Okay. Ante up. Jacks are better to open. Any limit on this last hand, Matt?
No, why?
You've been hit pretty hard this session.
Afraid of your money?
I know you're better than that. We think the same about bad losers, don't we, Matt?
So I've noticed.
Open for 5,000.
Huh? As my mother would say, a stranger from every village. I'm up.
Matt?
5 and up 10.
Me? I'm out.
Call you, Matt.
Cards?
2.
Never keep a kicker. I'll take 1.
Check. And up 25.
Call.
King's full. No kicker.
I guess my flush isn't good enough.
Guess not.
What's the damage?
Including the 66,000 on this hand, it comes to 483,000.
Well, that's a little more than you lost to me last month, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
I'll have Lou drop the dough off tomorrow, okay?
Fine.
How do you want it, check or cash?
Cash. Checks don't feel like money.
All right, I'll send Lou over with cash. It'll be on your desk at exactly noon tomorrow.
In bills of small denomination. I like the bulge it makes in my tailored suit.
Huh? Anybody else know about this game?
No.
Of course not. I think so.
Chris, Lou, what are you...
Matt, we're in. Oh, I didn't know you had company.
Just a friendly little game. I think you know most of the boys.
Oh, Matt, we gotta talk private.
What's the matter?
Get rid of the boys so we can talk.
Sure. Sure, we just finished anyway. So long, fellas. Thanks for the game.
So long, Matt. Remember, small bills.
See you, man. Yeah, see you.
Okay, what's on your mind?
The casino was raided Saturday night.
Saturday? This is Monday. Where have you guys been?
I got picked up when the joint was raided.
And I was out of town for the weekend. I got Lou out on a habeas corpus as soon as I returned this morning.
How did the cops find out about the location? What happened to the alarm system?
The grapevine has it that somebody in the organization tipped off the police. There's more than one man in this town that doesn't like you, Matt.
What about the books?
The cops got them, too. They were in the joint so fast I didn't have a chance to dump them.
Well, guess they got me nailed. Okay, I'm getting out. Chris, dump my insurance stock on the market. I can get enough out.
No, Matt.
What do you mean, no? I'm telling you to get rid of my stock.
Matt, there is no insurance company.
Are you crazy?
The company is in receivership, and the state is conducting an investigation.
But how? Why?
Well, one of the stockholders thought enough of his investment to go around gathering up enough proxies to vote you out of control and to have the books checked.
So what?
So this. Every dime in the company is frozen, and I doubt that you'll ever get to see any of it again.
What about the courts?
Well, intent to defraud is pretty tough to prove in a court. I think I can beat the rap on that count. But that's all I can promise you. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt, but...
If you say I told you so, I'll kill you right now.
No, Matt, no. That's not what I was going to say at all. I'm your friend. Even though I haven't very much to give,
I don't want your money, Chris. I don't need it. You see, I half expected this to happen, I guess. So I planned for it. I have a key ring in my office. On this key ring, I have 10 keys. And these keys open 10 safe-to-deposit boxes with about $100,000 in each. Lou? What are you looking at me like that for? Come on, speak up.
Matt, well, yeah, they got the key ring, too.
Well, Chris, you once told me I'd reach out too far. Well, I did. It looks as if the fall broke every bone in my body.
Hiya, Matt. Decided to come yourself instead of sending Lou, huh? Come on in. You can lay the dough right here. This is a pretty big desk.
I don't have the dough, Gus.
Don't play games with me. I don't have any sense of humor when somebody owes me money.
This isn't a game. I'm broke.
How broke?
I'm not going to be able to pay you what I owe you right now. You're going to have to wait a little while.
What do you mean I'm going to have to wait?
Just what I said. I haven't got the money right now.
Better get it.
Where?
That's your problem. All I know is you're half an hour overdue, and I don't like to be kept waiting.
But I've got to have a little time.
All right. I'll give you until midnight tonight. If I don't have it by then, I'll send one of my boys to see you.
What are you trying to do? Frighten me?
No. Just letting you know where I stand. Like you once told me, if you can't pay, don't play. Well, I'm telling you that now. You shouldn't play without dough to back you up.
But this is different. I had the money when I started to play.
And I won it off on you. I don't think you like to lose, Matt.
Why, you two-bit pitch penny.
Hold it! I don't like to see blood on my carpet.
You're going to be sorry you pulled that gun on me. By the time I get through with you, you'll be back peddling punch boards for a nickel a crack.
As long as you don't forget you got till midnight to pay me the $483,000. After that, you can start breaking me. But I got a hunch you're not going to do very much breaking in this town. You stepped on too many hands on your way up. And there are a lot of guys real eager to give you a push on the way down. Now get out of here.
I'm tired. So tired. 66th Street. One more block. I know I'm going to make it because of Ellen. Ellen would want me to. Ellen would help me. But she isn't here now. And I don't want to be alone. I won't be alone. Ellen will be there. She's always there. And I don't want to keep her waiting. I must hurry. Walk. 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 It's midnight.
Yes, I know. What are you going to do?
What is there to do? Wait for Gus, I suppose. I'm afraid I have to welch on another promise.
What promise?
The one I made to myself to give you the city.
Oh, Matt, darling, I don't care. I told you once before I didn't want anything but you, and now I... Oh, Matt.
I wish there was some way of starting all over again.
Do you really mean that, Matt?
Of course I do.
Wait here. Here.
What's this?
I had them appraised today. They're worth almost $175,000. With these, we can go to Mexico, South America, where they never even heard of you or Gus or any of the whole rotten mess in this town.
You mean you want me to run away? To class myself with all the cheap Welshers I hate? Do you know what you're asking?
Yes, I know what I'm asking. Matt, I love you. I want you alive with me. I've been afraid all this time, and I'm tired of being afraid. Oh, please, Matt, before it's too late.
Ellen. Where we go? Mexico or South America?
South America, it's further.
South America it is. I'll go down and get your car.
But they might...
Don't worry. I'll be safe. Nobody knows where I am. I want you to wait here for about 8 minutes. Then leave and meet me in the garage. Then we're off for the West Coast and South America.
Oh, Matt, I'm so happy.
Yes. I think I'm going to like South America.
That's what happens to Welshers.
'68th Street Hospital. I've made it. It's cold now. So cold. A few more steps. Got to hurry. Eleanor's been waiting so long for me. Don't want to keep her waiting. When I get there, she'll take me in her arms. And I'll feel the strength of her love. Chris will be there, too. And Lou. I want to tell him that I didn't break every bone in my body. Nurse.
Yes?
My name is Matthew Miller. And I guess didn't make it after all.
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. John Hodiak.
And here once again is our personable young star, John Hodiak.
Thanks, Harlow.
John, it's always a treat having you on Suspense, and tonight was no exception. We all enjoyed your performance as Matt very much.
That's very nice, Harlow. And if I may, I'd like to urge everybody in our audience to be sure and hear next week's unusual show, The Night Before Christmas. A great suspense story starring Miss Greer Garson. That's my good advice for tonight.
And I'll join you, John, with good advice for motorists everywhere.
I know, Harlow. You're always right with Autolite.
Correct. You're always right because Autolite is the world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Autolite makes over 400 products for cars, trucks, tractors, planes, and boats. These include Autolite batteries, such as the famous Autolite Stay Full, electrical systems used as original factory equipment on many leading makes of cars, a complete line of ignition-engineered Autolite spark plugs, both standard and resistor types. All are backed by constant Autolite research and are precision-built to highest standards of quality and performance. No wonder, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
Next week on Suspense, our star will be Miss Greer Garson in a special Christmas program, the unusual dramatization of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. In weeks to come, we shall also present Mr. Herbert Marshall, Mr. Jeff Chandler, and the First Lady of Suspense, Miss Agnes Moorehead. All on Suspense. Suspense is produced and directed by Elliott Lewis, with music composed by Lucian Morwick from a New York theme by Fred Steiner and conducted by Lud Gluskin. The Case History of a Gambler was written for Suspense by Ross Murray. Featured in tonight's cast was Lillian Baeff, Bill Boucher, Joseph Kearns, Lou Merrill, Herb Vigran, Martha Wentworth, Charles Calvert, and Clayton Post.
John Hodiak can be seen in the soon-to-be-released The Sellout.
And remember next week on Suspense, Miss Greer Garson in a special Christmas broadcast, 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
For the location of your nearest Autolite battery or spark plug dealer, or your nearest authorized Autolite service station, phone Western Union by number and ask for operator 25. Switch to Autolite. Good night.
This is the CBS Radio Network.
Autolite and its 96,000 dealers bring you Mr. Herbert Marshall in tonight's presentation of Suspense.
Tonight, Autolite presents an adaptation of Jeffrey Household's terrifying novel, Rogue Mail, starring Mr. Herbert Marshall.
Oh, Harlow.
Yes, Hap.
What was that all about?
Why, I was just demonstrating the Autolite electrical system, Hap.
You were?
Sure. It goes to work every time you start your car, sound the horn, play the radio, or turn on your lights or heater.
The electrical system does all that?
Sure, Hap. The Autolite coil, distributor, generator, and all the other units and thousands of component parts. They're all related by Autolite engineering design and manufacturing skill, and used as original factory equipment on many leading makes of our finest cars.
A real team operation, eh, Harlow?
You said it, Hap, for the smoothest car performance money can buy. So, friends, when your Autolite-equipped car needs replacement parts, insist on Autolite, original factory parts. Be sure, because from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, with Rogue Mail and the transcribed performance of Mr. Herbert Marshall, Autolite hopes once again to keep you in suspense.
I had him in my sights. The biggest game on earth. There was no mistaking him with his Chaplin moustache and his mincing strut. I'd spent a day checking all points commanding the terrace, and I'd timed the guards on their beats. Then I'd chosen my spot, on a grassy slope at the edge of a cliff. I estimated the range at 550 yards. When the great man appeared, I got the 3 pointers of my sights ready on the V of his waistcoat. He was facing me, winding up his watch. He would never have known what shattered him. That is, if I'd meant to fire. Just then, I felt a slight breeze on my cheek. I'd have to allow for wind.
Stop! Stop!
Careful. That's a hair trigger adjustment.
Dirty dog!
You don't understand. It was only a sporting stalk.
Assassin, you dirty dog! Oh. Killer! Who fired? All morning I felt his eyes watching me. I felt strange, so I turned back 7 minutes early when I reached the birches. He was going to kill our Führer.
You're ready, sir. Who helped you?
Nobody. I was alone.
Were you acting for your government?
Of course not. We're at peace.
So far, yes.
I'm a sportsman, a big game hunter. It was what we call a sporting stalk.
You expect us to believe that?
Believe what you wish. It's true.
Corporal, take him inside. We'll break him. They're away.
Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler. Is he conscious?
More or less, sir.
Prop him up. Put him in that chair.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, quite well.
Now, we've checked your story. Seems to be true. Incredible, but very English. Yes, a sporting stalk.
You're English?
Half. My lesser half. I can pass for English when I need to. Corporal, bring his things. Gun, binoculars, and papers.
Yes, sir.
I ought to bandage myself a bit before I leave.
But you're not leaving. We can't release you. Your appearance, that left eye, and your hands. Oh, no, you'd certainly want to get even with us. How would you explain the state of your fingernails?
I'm willing to call it even now.
Yes, I believe you really mean that. It's no wonder we admire you English. No, we can't risk it, old man. Too much criticism abroad of our methods.
I tell you, the story will die with me.
It will indeed. This very evening.
If you're concerned about world opinion, my murder most certainly will...
Oh, but it won't be murder. It will be an accident. A sporting accident.
They drove me north 50 miles, took me to the edge of a cliff, and put me over. All but my hands. That was cunning. Scrabbling at the rough rock would account for the state of my fingers when I was found. I did hang on, of course, until I had to drop. But they'd bungled the job. There was a terrifying instant of pain, then I plopped into something soft.
I'd crashed into a patch of swamp, small and deep. When I moved, I found I was wrapped in mud. It was dark, and I was quite numb. I couldn't stand. So I traveled on my belly, using my elbows for legs, leaving a track like a wounded crocodile. I had only one thought, to hide myself. 1 mile, 2 miles. I came to a river, and crawling into the shallows, I made my trail look as if I had taken to the stream. Then I crawled back over my own track to a tree. I caught at a low branch. The muscles of my hands were still intact, and went up the first 10 feet in a single burst. I couldn't rest my legs on the lower branches without leaving a smear of blood. I pulled myself higher. When I reached the thick branches of the upper tree, I wedged myself in. Then I fainted. The sound of their search woke me. It was afternoon. I peered down and saw the half-English major and 2 uniformed men and 3 dogs.
His trail goes into the river.
He couldn't swim. His legs.
We have to be sure. You, go downstream. I'll go up with the dog. We must find his body.
I stayed in the tree all night. Just before dawn, I came down. I could walk after a fashion, but I had to have different clothes, a razor, and many things, so I might as well turn myself in. Then a tall, stooping man with a fishing rod came through the woods to the riverbank. I crept closer to study him. His face was melancholy, but there was courage in it. I had to take that one chance. Good morning. Any luck?
If I know I... Who are you?
Don't be afraid. I need help. Look at my hands. Do you know how that was done?
Yes. I mean, I've heard... no, I don't know anything.
I have money, if you'll help me.
I don't want money.
I'm English. It's better for you not to know my name or what I've done, but I need clothes, food, gloves to hide these hands, a razor to shave. Things that can't be traced back. Wait, don't go. Where are you going?
You need something to hide that eye, too.
A patch, I think. Yes, an eye patch would be best.
I'll put the things under that tree.
He was back in an hour, but I waited till dark to pick up the bundle. I changed, shaved, adjusted the eye patch, and studied myself in the mirror. It was a fair disguise. That same night, I stole a punt and pushed off downriver. It took me a week to reach the sea. There was a large harbor there, and walking along the wharves, I saw several English ships. From 2 English sailors I met in a bar, I learned that one freighter was sailing next morning for London. Her first mate was named Mr. Vayner.
Yes, who is it?
Mr. Vayner?
Who the... Oh, the police didn't catch you. Didn't you know? They've searched every ship in the harbor. Found that punt you abandoned.
How did they trace it to me?
They had reports of a man wearing a black eye patch seen on the river. That's how I know who you are.
Can you help me?
Oh, I could hide you in the storeroom.
No, too risky.
No place in the hold. I've got it. Come on. Anyone see you come aboard?
I don't think so.
Well, everybody's ashore except me and the cook. There's time to hide you. It's all clear. Come on, run. Keep your head down. Police might come back, spot you from the wharf.
What's this manhole cover for?
Empty freshwater tank. There. Hop in, fast. I'll bring you food and blankets. Would you like some whiskey?
Very much. Thanks. And Mr. Vayner, when we dock in the Thames, will you keep a sharp lookout? See if the ship's watched?
You'll be safe in England, sir.
Maybe, but I'm going to look before I leave.
You all right, sir? There's a funny-looking chap watching the gates.
Could I row ashore?
I have the dinghy ready, under the starboard quarter.
Fine. I'll leave it at the Hurlingham east wall so you can pick it up.
Have you friends, sir, who'll hide you?
I can't let them be involved. I'll see my lawyer first thing in the morning, then I'll disappear.
Oh, come in quickly. You're taking a frightful risk coming here.
I know, Saul, but I had to.
There's no telling who saw you come into the building.
I noticed a man in a black hat feeding the birds in the courtyard.
Oh, yes, he's been there all week.
And I just glimpsed a certain major.
You mean you know him? When he called on me and asked all those pointed questions about you, I thought he was lying. He said he was a friend and a neighbor. Calls himself Major Keeve Smith.
He's no friend, Saul. He's a half-English major in the German army.
How are you tangled up with the Germans? Why, their ambassador's been asking about you, too.
I can't tell you, Saul. I'm in a mess. I can't go to the police or involve the government in any way. I have to disappear, and I need 5,000 pounds in cash.
And I'll send Sims out to cash a check. But they'll follow you when you leave. Black Hat and the Major.
They'll try. But I'll shake them somehow. When I started for the Holborn Underground Station, the man in the black hat was close behind me. Then I saw, before I dived into the station, that he'd stopped at the newsstand. That puzzled me, until I looked further back and spotted the major moving toward me fast through the crowd. Our eyes met and flashed in recognition, and suddenly I saw their plan. Black Hat would stay behind to guard the exit. The major would keep on my heels. I ran to the escalator and went down to the third level, and I raced across the platform to a southbound train. I jumped aboard and worked my way forward, peering out. The major was delayed on the jammed platform, but he fairly hurled himself through the same door I'd entered while I stepped off the train through another door. The door slid shut. The train hauled the major off toward Piccadilly. I started back toward the escalator, then stopped in panic. Black Hat was there on the platform. He'd been there all along, not at the newsstand. I plunged into that trap like a frightened rabbit. Black Hat and I were alone. He moved toward me. His hand poised above a pocket I was sure held a gun. I jumped off the platform and ran, keeping well away from the third rail. His footsteps pounded behind me. The tunnel curved into blackness. Just beyond the curve, I flattened myself against the tunnel wall.
You might as well come out. The major wants to talk to you. Just come along. Talk.
You need a gun in your hand to talk?
Autolite is bringing you Mr. Herbert Marshall in Rogue Mail. Tonight's production in radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense.
Well, Hap, how's the team?
You mean our basketball team, Harlow?
No, I mean the Autolite team in your Autolite-equipped car. That team of Autolite electrical system units, including the coil, distributor, generator, starting motor, and all their thousands of component parts. Why, they're all related by Autolite engineering design and manufacturing skill to give your car the smoothest performance money can buy.
The Autolite electrical system does a big job, eh, Harlow?
You said it, Hap, and it's vitally important to the smooth and efficient operation of your Autolite-equipped car.
Then I'm off to treat my car to a periodic checkup at my nearest authorized Autolite service station, Harlow.
Right, Hap. And friends, it will pay you to do the same. Visit your car dealers or nearest authorized Autolite service station. You'll find the authorized Autolite service station nearest you listed in the classified section of your telephone directory. Or call Western Union by number and ask for Operator 25. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
And now, Autolite brings back to our Hollywood soundstage Mr. Herbert Marshall
in Elliot Lewis's production of Rogue Male, a tale well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I can still hear his scream when he fell on the third rail. It echoed along the tunnel. A queer place for a soul to find itself adrift. I had to leave London, hide somewhere in the country. At a series of shops, I bought camping equipment, a Primus stove, pans, a sleeping bag, a heavy slingshot, and a hunting knife. I couldn't buy a gun without having it registered. Finally, I bought a bicycle, and by evening I was pedaling southwest toward Dorset, looking, I hope, like a carefree man on a rambling holiday. I had picked my hiding place above Marshwood Vale between two lonely farms. It's not on any map. Choked with deadwood, blocked at both ends by tangled thorn, nobody would ever find it except a curious child. Which is why I knew of it. For in love one becomes a child again. That bit of road had been our discovery, hers and mine, during the brief 2 weeks which were to begin our life together. 2 weeks which were instead our last, our only time. The next days, I slept and watched. Nights, I worked. I tunneled back 10 feet into the soft sandstone of the bank, hollowing out a low room and a hearth. My chimney went straight up into a blackberry bush. Over the entrance, I fitted a heavy door camouflaged with sandstone dust and dead twigs and vines. If anyone should blunder into that piece of road, he'd see no sign of my hiding place. I would be warm, dry, reasonably well fed, troubled only by my memories and my loneliness. Then one morning, down my chimney, came a thin, black, powerful tomcat who seemed to think me the trespasser. Hello there. Here. Share a biscuit? Not very civil, old man. Would you rather have some bully beef? Yeah. I bet that's the first cooked meat you've eaten. What do you live on mostly? Mice? Pheasants? From the look of your ribs, you haven't had good hunting of late. Aha! The bully beef brings out your better nature. Maybe you'll let me scratch your ear. Huh? Why, you're a veritable Asmodeus. Asmodeus, demon of hatred and malignity. Now, easy, I'm not going to hurt you. That's right. I won't tell anyone. Stick around and keep me from being lonely. I won't tell a soul that old Asmodeus is a sentimental fool. But in the end, my loneliness seemed more acute. In the long nights on that silent hillside, I was haunted by a memory of her violet eyes, by a futile wish that I'd followed my premonition, forced her to stay with me in England. Strange, when I first heard that she was dead, I'd suffered very little. But at night, in that cave, remembering, I felt such pain. The next afternoon, lying hidden in the top of an oak tree, I saw a car drive into the yard of the farm to the east. A man climbed out, carrying a gun case and bag. The car drove away, and the man went into the farmhouse. I stayed in the tree, and in the evening saw the farmer and his visitor emerge with guns under their arms, probably going out to hunt wood pigeons. After a while, they came out from a thicket to my left. The farmer's visitor was Major Keeve Smith.
You won't be having much luck for your first evening shooting, sir.
Oh, that's all right. I have 2 weeks' holiday. What's behind that growth of hawthorn over there?
Oh, nothing. But dead wood and more hawthorn.
I ought to find pigeons nesting in there.
Not likely, because of the cat.
What cat?
Oh, perishing black cat. Can't shoot him, can't tame him neither. There he goes now, that black devil.
Where? Oh, yes, into the hedge. He's very fat for a stray, isn't he?
I was underground 9 days, watching daylight and starlight through my chimney. Then Asmodeus disappeared. And that night I heard noises. There were 2 men. They were moving something heavy. Then I heard a thud against the door, and I knew with terror that my door was barred. I was trapped underground.
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Wonder how I found you? It was the cat. I was sure that somebody was feeding him. How sentimental you English are about animals.
Can't you give me a cleaner death than this?
My dear fellow, I don't want you to die at all. Put your signature on a document I have here, and I'll release you immediately.
A document? Which says what?
Well, I'll read you the most important sentence. On April the 5th, I attempted to assassinate the leader of the German people and did so with the knowledge of the British government. See, it's a very simple, straightforward statement.
It's a pack of lies.
Oh, come now, no heroics. Truth is relative. You think about it overnight, old fellow. I'll be back at 7 in the morning.
Oh? Who do you have on night duty?
A paid hand. Swiss fellow. You must have realized it took 2 of us to lift the log that's barring your door. But by the way, why did you try to assassinate our leader?
I told you. I wanted to see if it was possible. And then I didn't think his death would be any loss.
Ah, then you did mean to shoot. I'm glad you finally admit it.
Why, yes. I did mean to shoot. I'd given myself away, not to him, to myself. It had not been a game. I had really meant to kill the head of a state. I must have been mad, and indeed I was, driven mad by rage and grief so great I didn't let myself know what I was thinking. I am a man who was loved only once and didn't know it until she was dead. They killed her. He, that leader, killed her. She was so swift, so sensitive, so generous of spirit that she made the cause of all oppressed, unhappy people her own. And so they caught her and killed her, for reasons of state. And so I had declared war on them, one man at war with a nation. And I would have destroyed their leader if the wind hadn't shifted. I slept and was awakened by the sound of a shot. And then something was stuffed down my chimney, shutting off my only source of fresh air. Hours passed. The air grew foul, and I banged on the door. Keeve Smith paid no attention. Finally, I reached up the chimney to see what he'd stuffed it, and pulled poor Asmodeus down into my cave. He'd been shot at close quarters. I was choking with sorrow and rage.
It wasn't an easy shot, old man. Very difficult and sporty.
That's a lie. He trusted you because he'd learned to trust me.
Oh? Well, perhaps you're right. The Anglo-Saxon love of animals is a weakness I'm happy to be without.
And so, with the death of Asmodeus, the Major condemned himself to death. All my plans were directed to that end. I had no gun, no access to my victim except through the chimney hole. No weapon but the slingshot. There was only one way to kill him. To shoot a lethal missile through that opening. After some hours, I hit on an iron spit as my weapon, to be fired by the slingshot. Then I set about luring the Major to the hole.
Ah? You want to talk?
Yes, I've been thinking. You'd only use that document in case of a war, is that right?
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter if I sign it or not, since there isn't going to be a war.
You're perfectly right. The mere formality.
Then hand it down. And give me a pen and a flashlight.
Right away. I'm glad you decided to be sensible. You're a cut above the average Englishman. There it is. Got it?
Yes.
Here's the pen. Where are you? I can't see...
There was a look of surprise in his eyes. But he was already dead. The iron spit took him square by the nose, then he toppled backward. Immediately, I hacked away at my end of the chimney until it was large enough to receive my body. Then I burst out into the blackberry bush. The Major was lying on his back with the spit projecting through the back of his skull. I searched him, took his revolver, burned that scandalous document he'd meant me to sign, and sat down to wait. It was dark when I heard the Swiss agent coming. When he was a few paces away, I flashed the light on him. Put your hands up. Now walk over here slowly.
What do you want?
Your gun. Turn around.
Oh, you killed the Major. Oh, please, sir. Don't turn me in. They will hang me. They will hang me for treason. Now we are at war.
At war?
Oh, yes, sir. It came over the wireless. Germany has marched into Poland. England has declared war.
And so my private war merged with the greater cause. And I had no need to worry further about the ethics of my revenge. They were the same as the ethics of war. True. It had not been, as I had claimed, a sporting sport. But you can't call me unsporting. After all, if I'd pulled the trigger, I would have achieved one of the 2 or 3 most difficult shots in the world.
Suspense. Presented by Autolite. Tonight's star, Mr. Herbert Marshall.
This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for Autolite, the world's largest independent manufacturer of automotive electrical equipment. Autolite is proud to serve the greatest names in the industry. That is why, during the early months of 1952, the Autolite family will join together in saluting the leading car manufacturers who install Autolite products as original equipment right on their assembly line. The Autolite family is made up of the nearly 30,000 men and women in 28 great Autolite plants from coast to coast, as well as more than 18,000 Autolite stockholders, 97,000 Autolite distributors and dealers in the United States, and thousands more in Canada and throughout the world. The Autolite family will salute the Packard Motor Car Company in the next Autolite Suspense television program. So if you live in a television area, check the day and time of Suspense on television so that you won't miss this program. And remember, from bumper to tail light, you're always right with Autolite.
Next week on Suspense, our star will be Mr. Jeff Chandler in a story taken from life, a factual document concerning the San Francisco Tong Wars, which we call The Case Against Lou Doc. In weeks to come, we shall also present Miss Agnes Moorehead, Mr. Charles Boyer, and Mr. J. Carroll Nash, all on Suspense. Suspense is transcribed and directed by Elliot Lewis, with music composed by Lucian Morowick and conducted by Lud Gluskin. Rogue Mail was adapted for Suspense by Sylvia Richards from the novel by Jeffrey Household. In tonight's story, Ben Wright was heard as the Major. Featured in the cast were Larry Dobkin, Ramsey Hill, Harry Bartell, Tudor Owen, Joseph Kearns, William Johnstone, and Earl Keane.
Herbert Marshall may be heard each week on his own radio program, The Man Called X. This is the CBS Radio Network.